thought it would be somewhat amusing to buy the Skye Bison, otherwise known as Skye Wallace, American-style pale ale from Long Slice Brewery, and open it up on here. I was going to have like a fancy, like, but it, I got to record it anyway. Got some on my laptop. Just had a sip there. It tastes pretty good. This is Skye Wallace on Your Worst Song. Thank you very much.
And oh yeah,
can you hear me now? Good.
I can hear you now.
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
It was on my end. I just I record a podcast also, and my interface is just being crazy. So
yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Forgive me. What podcast do you host?
So, well, I don't host it. I'm a character on D&D Actual Play.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love it. It's we just did episode 74 yesterday, I think.
Wow. That is fun. So how many months is that then? Do you do it one a week or what's the deal?
No, I think we space it out kind of whenever we can. Well, like my bassist is one of the two DMs.
Oh, there's two?
There's two DMs, which is nuts.
Big. This is a big deal.
Yeah, it's totally like homebrewed, world built, which is super cool. And so it's just depending on availability, because there's 5 of us. Started during the pandemic when it was easier, but
gotcha.
We just kind of rock it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you play right, because everybody has to inhabit like their own created character with their own skills and that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I've only played it one time. I enjoyed it. It was just very, like you're saying, it's very difficult to get everybody together and actually find a time when you can sit down for hours and like put into, and I'm saying this in a good way, like a make-believe communal sort of situation. It's tough.
Totally, because it does take some hours, especially initially, like the character build can take like quite a few hours, and like that kind of can put people off if you don't have a ton of time or bandwidth. But like once you get in it, it's very life-giving.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of investment, but then it really does pay off, the investment. Yeah, totally.
Well,
it's great to have you. I'm really glad that we could do this. It's great to actually speak, which it's weird. I'm sure you've had this a lot in the case of the Toronto music community or any community, but sometimes you find like we've been in the same rooms before. We just haven't really met. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The internet's weird too. Like I feel like
weird.
You recognize people by their like handles and
which is why for the people listening, I asked Skye, I was like, just to make sure, is your first name Skye? Is that what is this whole thing a fabrication or what's the deal?
Yeah, for sure.
Is Wallace also your name?
It is, yeah. Okay, that's my actual name. But I do, full disclosure, I do get that a lot, where people are like, "That's a fake name, right?" Like,
well, it's great. No. It's like it sounds like a musician name. You lucked out. Your parents nailed it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Mom and Dad.
Yeah. And actually, this is just a random thing that maybe we could start on, just because something that I mentioned to you that I thought was cool. That beer or drink that you have going on. Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to not talk about? Okay, cool.
I'm down.
I would love to hear about it. So is it, I know it was a collaboration with you based on your music, but other than that, I don't know if it was for a specific EP or a specific song or what. So what was the deal with that?
It was just kind of a general collaboration. Like Long Slice is the brewery, and they're an awesome, like Toronto-based brewery. They have like lots of, I don't know, they're in all the LCBOs. They kind of operate under, like they're at the Aviary on the West End, in the West End, and that's where the brewery is. But they also have ties with like the Doc Ellis and a couple of other spots, and just like some friends of friends I knew peripherally, and then some of them came to a show and they were like, "Hey, we like your music. Would you be interested in like a cross collaboration kind of thing?" Because they had this beer that was called Skye Bison.
Oh, so that's already a bit of, that's great.
And it just happened to be my favorite one.
Yeah, right. Wow.
The reason why it's called Skye Bison is also really funny. Do you ever like watch like the OG Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I know it, but I didn't watch it.
There's a like the steed on that show
Yeah.
is a bison with wings.
Okay, sure.
And the bison's name is Appa, and the Skye Bison beer happens to be an American pale
Oh,
ale.
that's good. That is really good.
But
That's
then, yeah, we just decided to switch it over. My friend Wes from Duchess Tattoos in Toronto
yeah.
drew, like, that was his design of me.
Oh,
And
cool.
so they just
Yeah.
put it on top. And yeah, it's been really cool.
I love the way that it looks. For people who haven't seen it, it looks like your regular tall boy or whatever. But it has the what? Sorry, what was it? What was the
It's
animal
like
you just said?
bison.
Bison. So bison
Yeah.
is crossed out and
Yeah.
Wallace is added, and it's.
Yeah.
I just like the idea that it almost feels like a notebook correction or something,
Totally. We
right?
wanted it to look like a binder from school,
Yes.
you
Okay.
know?
Well, there you go. That's exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No. I just. Yeah. No. I like that it was. I just like the way it was done. It immediately caught my
Yeah.
eye. Yeah, I wish
Thank
I had a
you.
beer right now for it and I could
Yeah.
show it. But no, that's so cool. Do you remember where you were playing when that show was where they were impressed and
I did a couple of nights at the Cameron House where
Mhm.
like one was like the full band, one was like the next night was acoustic.
Okay,
And I
cool.
think they actually came to the acoustic night and they were like, I don't know, it was just like a really nice,
Wow.
very like natural process. And like those, like the people who work at Long Slice are so creative. Like I love all of the ads that they make, the
hmm
campaigns, the like movies. They just have
To
fun making.
to even want
So
to do this kind of collaboration honestly shows that they are sort of like creatives or at least
yeah,
really comfortable with that. No, that's so
big
cool.
time.
So at the Cameron House, I'm curious, in general, I guess, but you could talk about that performance too, or those two nights. When you played acoustic and with full band, were they both in the back or was it the front or
They were in the back,
okay, yeah.
which was great. And I think that was my first time in the back room since it had been totally
Yes,
redone.
redone. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I came in, I was like, the stage is on the other side now.
Yeah, the first time I played there ever was my, I think, bassist's second time playing there, and the first time had been before the renovation. So her mind was blown, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know, it looks nice. It's
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, apparently a lot has switched around, and it looks sort
Yep.
of almost like mirrored in a weird way, or is
Yeah.
that
Sounds
right?
good too. Like the sound is
Yeah, oh
awesome.
yeah, no, it's awesome there. I love playing the Cameron House. I'd pretty much
Yeah.
recommend it to anybody. Um,
Big time.
yeah,
Big time.
absolutely. Do you have any we like to start on here with best or
Mhm.
worst gigs. I don't know which one you would
Hmm.
prefer to start with.
Best. Oh my God, that's so hard.
And best,
Um,
of course, please name names. Worst, please name as few names as you want, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I've been steering people clear of that. Mostly people will just go at such and such venue. This
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, um, I have certainly, especially when I was first starting out, played
hmm
my fair share of like four people in attendance kind of shows, you
Sure.
know?
Yes.
I'd say like I think the worst show was a place in New Brunswick, and I'm not gonna say
Sure.
names,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we got there and the whole thing was that like there's an artist apartment upstairs,
Oh, cool.
and which was cool. And
Yeah.
like I'd played there before. Nobody shows up really if they don't know you, but you get like, you know, a free drink or two and then you
Yeah.
go upstairs and you stay. It's great.
Yeah.
We get there and the stairs up to the apartment were gone. Um,
So you're gonna have to parkour up to the bedroom. If you, yeah.
yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
But like we ended up having to get a hotel last minute and we played
Oh,
for
so
two
fully.
people.
Oh.
Couldn't even use it. And they were like, yeah, sorry.
Oh my
And it's
God.
like,
What?
this was our first night on tour too. So it was like,
Oh.
this is such a bummer for the
Yeah.
first night.
That is a bummer.
Yeah, that's the one that came to mind initially
Jeez.
of the worst. The best, I mean, the ones that are more recent stay in your mind. I'm sure there's
Sure.
been so many, but like recently I opened for Laura Jane Grace,
hmm
who is like a huge influence for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And like there's two shows in a row, one in Aurelia and then a last minute one in Hamilton.
Nice.
And like she was so warm, her crew was so lovely.
hmm
I found myself just like really inspired by music again, watching them play. And then
Uh,
also just like the crowds were so like I felt so respected and like people
wow.
just like I don't know, like nobody assumed my pronouns. Like it was just like a
Right.
very
Okay. I was just gonna
um
ask you, can you quantify some ways that they were respectful? That's an
Yeah,
example. Like, other than that, though, is it all? It's because sometimes you can just get a vibe from a crowd and be like, this is this is a rowdy crowd, or this is a really respectful, quiet crowd. Or so, how
sure,
was it
yeah.
for you? You
I
know?
mean, there's an interesting, like, I like a rowdy crowd if they can be tamed,
Yeah,
not
rowdy
tamed. You
to
know
an
what I mean?
extent. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like brought in and like kind of like,
Almost
kept
like
there. Yeah,
wielded for the
that's
energy
right.
as a yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But this crowd was just like so intent while also like bopping to me playing acoustic,
It
which
was
was
the best of
awesome.
both worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then like I don't know, like my partner was doing merch and like sometimes that happens where like I'll come over and then like people will talk to him about my music instead of me
Oh,
and
weird.
like nobody even looked at him. It was great. Like he brought this up to me. He was like, "Nobody asked me a damn thing and they all talk to you and that's the way it should be." So,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
absolutely. That seems odd. Is it because do you think it's a mix of, oh, you're the artist, I feel nervous talking to you, plus just some, good
Yeah.
old-fashioned sexism, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
think that there's a bit of that, and whatever is the root of it, maybe someone doesn't have, as much confidence talking to, someone who's not a dude or whatever,
Right,
but
yeah.
like it just is something that I notice
Yeah, not
happens, and
excusing it.
then
I'm just
no,
wondering
no.
about it. Yeah, yeah, wondering.
Yeah, but like this one, just the space was such that it was like the stage was set that this was
Nice,
kind of
good.
the thing, so it just felt really good, and I
Well,
think
do you
that
want to shout out this place in Hamilton?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, this
yeah.
was at Bridgeworks,
Okay,
which
cool.
is like the Sonic Onion headquarters, like very cool spot. And I played there only once before with
Hmm.
Crownlands, but that was
Okay.
during the pandemic. So it was
Uh,
like
very
right
different.
before, yeah, Omicron kind of happened. And so like,
Omicron,
yeah,
wow.
it was nice to be back when it was a bit more chill,
Yes, yes.
experience it.
Not deadly waves of viruses taking over the news constantly and
No kidding.
scaring everybody. That's yeah, yeah. Although that
That
sounds
old
like a pretty good
chestnut.
lineup too. You and Crownlands. That's pretty cool.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a really fun tour. We had to cancel the West Coast side of the tour, but we did do Ontario and Quebec. And it was like, I love those two so much. They're great people, great, amazing artists. Just like
Very good
wild.
musicians too. Just like
Very.
objectively at their instruments, very good musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Uh,
creative too.
you mentioned that your on that earlier story that your tour was going to start in New Brunswick. Is that right? That
This was a
previous tour?
different tour. Yeah.
No,
That,
no, I
that
know
wasn't
that.
like,
I know.
oh, gotcha.
So the only reason that I'm asking is because you are, correct me if I'm wrong, you are Toronto based?
Yes. Yeah.
Were you at that time?
I was. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, is that typical, start going to one end and then trying to go all the way back, or do you sort of start in Toronto and do a little weird
Usually I think
horizontal
it's that.
J? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, like, I think this one was specifically an East Coast tour.
Ah, okay,
So we
okay.
started in New Brunswick, and that was on like, it was the only place we could get a gig on like a Monday or Tuesday, say.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And that one was very
Well, they
like,
had
yeah,
bigger worries. They
you
didn't
know.
have stairs and
Yeah,
that sort of
exactly.
thing. That's too funny. But I
Yeah.
hear good things in general about New Brunswick's different
Oh,
music scenes, and they really care and come out to
yeah.
local shows and
Yeah,
things like
big
that.
time, big time. I think the last time I played there it was a while ago. Like it
Hmm.
was 2019. I played with Matt Mays in Fredericton and
Oh,
Moncton and
nice.
just amazing. And it was like cool, like sit down theaters and stuff. So I hadn't
Yeah.
really experienced that before. And yeah, it was awesome.
Sit down theaters. Yeah, that's something else. Do they all snap instead or something?
Yeah,
Or no.
they
That's
all
so
wear
cool.
berets.
Yeah, exactly. All their berets. Yeah. Uh, that's so fun. For some reason, I got this idea of if and I never went to art school, but art school kids, instead of when they graduate, instead of the caps, they should throw up berets in the air. Anyway,
Oh
that's
yeah,
just a suggestion
absolutely.
that popped into my head. Uh, where do you where are some, just because we spoke of some scenes like across New Brunswick and other places, where are some smaller towns that you feel like,
Mm.
oh, it's small, but when I go there, it is awesome. Like I talked to somebody else, the episode isn't out yet, but Peterborough is one of those places for me, and
Oh
Guelph
yeah.
is too. I love both of
Yep.
those places. So, what are some for you?
Yeah. I mean, well, like just for me, for those two specifically, I
Sure.
used to live in Guelph for a little bit and I loved
Oh.
Guelph. Also, like my new record, I recorded it in Peterborough entirely. So
Really? I swear this was
yeah.
not planned, folks at
Yeah.
home. Wow, that's so cool. So what made you, well, let's talk about that. What made you want to
Yeah.
record, what made you want to record in Peterborough?
Well, it was actually a collaboration kind of like that
Mhm.
that dictated the location. And I
Oh,
started out, it was I was writing with Huxley Workman.
is this like a
Um,
label get together thing? Is that, I feel
no,
like
it
I
was
saw that on
just
some other thing.
it was we just like he just kind of like messaged me because we were in each other's periphery.
Mm.
I'd been playing with his drummer for off and on for a while and things like
Okay, yeah.
that. And then
Yeah.
he was like, "Hey, like we follow each other, like we both co-write, like maybe we should do a co-writing session." And so we wrote a song. Actually, it's called Momentum is the first one that we wrote and it just came out like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, which
Yes,
is cool.
I was listening to that.
Yeah.
That's great.
But then it like turned into like more and more songs, and then we were like, shoot, we like I want to do this record, and we ended up well, it's you know, there's a record coming.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, all right.
But we co-produced it, and that was kind of the beginning of this like really beautiful collaboration. All happened at his house. He has like a really awesome studio in his garage that's like
Mhm.
if I were to have a studio, it's the perfect size. It's like the perfect everything you need.
How big is
Um
it? Like a kind of like a backyard shed kind of size?
like
What would you say?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess like a little
I
bit
guess
bigger than.
anybody's opinion of a shed is different from the next person's,
That's
I guess. So
right.
it's weird to be
Sheds
like,
vary.
shed's very,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll put it this way. It's big enough to be able to do drums in there,
Uh-huh.
but often had to do like piecemeal drums where it's like you just do
Okay.
like just the toms or just the
Yes.
hi-hat separately or whatever.
Okay, I gotcha. So you
Yeah.
liked so Peterborough, what the reason was because you wanted to collaborate with them, plus
Mhm.
their home studio was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay, I
Exactly.
see. So
But
since
then as
then, no, no, go ahead.
Oh,
No.
just as far as like other spots that
Yeah.
like have been kind of home to me. I really love one place is Fort Francis, Ontario, which is like
I don't know if I've even heard of that.
northwest.
Northwest,
It's
okay.
super small. It's like maybe an hour away from the Manitoba border. And it's
Okay.
close to the US border too. But it's just been one of those places that I keep coming back to. Like the shows are always like sold out and wild. And
Wow.
people are so nice. Like we always stay with my buddy's parents who
Hmm.
are just such nice people. And yeah, I just like that's been a standout for me as far as like touring across the country.
Yeah.
It's a nice stop between Winnipeg and Thunder Bay. So
What's the venue style out there that you play? Like, is it
well,
could you relate it to one in Toronto that we would be familiar with?
I would say that the place that I would usually play is called From the Grind Up. That was where I first started. It
Cool.
was run
Okay.
by a guy named Ben Morelli. It's no longer, unfortunately, in
Mm.
existence, but I would say that it's actually comparable to like the front room of the Cameron House as far as like
Okay, cool.
size and
Nice.
like where the stage is. But it did have like, cocktails and food and stuff like that.
You said it's
Um,
up the grind?
from the Grind Up.
From the grind up.
Yeah.
That sounds like a cafe name to me. Like it could be coffee.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it is a coffee shop
Oh,
during the
okay.
day and then it switches at night and all these kind of things. It again no longer
Yeah, that's too bad.
in the thing, but like the place that we played the last time, two times we were through
Hmm.
there recently. One was at a place called La Place Rendezvous, which is like it was like a 100-person hall kind of thing. It was
Hmm.
really nice. And then the second time was a bass fishing tournament.
That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
you wowed me first with the pronunciation of that French, and you wowed me with the location of that second place. That's awesome. How did the second one come to be?
So there's this promotion company called Tour de Fort in
Okay.
Fort Francis, and so they had this like big like stage and tent set up for the bass fishing tournament because it's like a big deal there. It's like
Yeah.
quite an awesome
Pastime
time.
industry.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And so it was me and my band and my friends Goodnight Sunrise played there.
Cool.
And it was just like an awesome rock show. But the one thing is that during sound check, we did have to be careful of slipping because they had weighed all of the fish on the stage
Oh
earlier that
my
day.
God. How did that smell? I'd be more worried about that.
You get used to it after a while.
Yeah, in a Stockholm syndrome kind of way with a smell. Yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, the
exactly.
fish were all alive. They had like a pretty good system of like letting them go and stuff like that. So
Good, good.
yeah. So it
Wow, I
wasn't
didn't
too
even
bad.
consider that. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Hmm
I was
Yeah.
thinking they just had to like slosh a bunch of these poor fish off the stage afterwards. Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, this is sort of in between where I want to get to a little slightly. That's messy. What's that? The new toy for kids. It's called That's Messy. And you make them make a mess. And then they also have to clean it up, so they learn how to clean up a mess and then responsibility and something. Is that a thing? Could that be a thing? That's messy. That's messy. Something I've been asking other people, especially people who have toured around as much as you have, do any green rooms stand out? Like positively? Positively.
Yeah.
I mean, or negatively if you have a story, but don't name them, obviously. But I got a good one where there was a place, I'll say it quickly. There was a green room downstairs of a venue, and it doubled as a like sex party event place. So there was like a leather rocking horse, and there's all this other stuff while people are just trying to chill with like a beer and just be like, yeah, my set was good. Nice.
Oh my God.
All this stuff is just around. Yeah. Pretty interesting.
That's the friggin', I mean, like, you know, that's the thing about touring is that like sometimes you have no control over what the fuck is going on.
Exactly. At that point, you would take no stairs. I would prefer that
for
place.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Absolutely.
But yeah, any green rooms?
See. Green rooms, I would say, I mean, the Neat Cafe is always fun in Burnstown, which is outside of Ottawa.
Oh, okay.
And they're really cool. They actually like named a drink after me and stuff. It was really nice.
That's 2 drinks and counting now, for the record. You've got one there and you've got the beer.
That's true. That's so true.
You know what? You should do some sort of like EGOT, you know, an Emmy, Grammy, awesome, but it should be drinks. So you should have a wine, you should have a cocktail, you've got a beer.
You know what? Actually, like that's been a thing that's come up a couple times is that like actually at Division 88, I did a secret show there and they made a cocktail that was like me themed, which was awesome.
So what,
and then I did that in Germany too. That was blue curacao because it was like, you know, sky blue kind of thing.
Oh yes, sure. Okay.
There was this one in Germany. I played this spot in Siegen and they made a cocktail, like a signature cocktail for the night that had like actually I think Skye Bison. It is actually called like Skye Bison or something. The
liquor that
whiskey.
They were oh wow.
Yeah,
wow.
like it was like a really peaty Scotch kind of vibe. So that was what they were making there, and I was
wow. Like, Skye Bison is following you around. I feel like
I know. I said it, and I was like, that can't be right.
When you perform solo, you can be Skye Wallace, and then when you have a band, it can be Skye Bison.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like that. I like that a lot.
What took you over to Germany? Who were you? Obviously music, but was it your own tour? Or was it supporting somebody else? What was the deal?
I've been to. I think the first time I went to Germany. I'm trying to like. The first time I went to Germany was with my friend Rachel Cardiello, who I actually played with on Saturday. We did like an acoustic secret show thing at the Only in the East End.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, Only Cafe.
So she goes by Zinnia. Zinnia.
Zinnia. Okay, I've seen them perform. I didn't know her their actual first name.
Yeah, she's amazing. Just like love everything about her music and everything. But like we did a tour It was mostly of Italy. We started in Sicily and then went up through Italy, and
What?
then we just added some German dates
That's
along. That was my
amazing.
first time in Germany. Yeah, it was
I'm
great.
honestly like, can I ask how you set that up? Did you two just go, we want to travel, we're friends, we want to play music, let's do it? Is that just that?
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like I had been to Italy once before
Hmm.
where this woman that we actually both ended up playing with at different times before we knew each other. Her name was Miss Quincy, still, still is. Her name's
Cool. Yeah,
Judy Peck
sure.
in real life.
Yeah.
She's based on Bowen Island near Vancouver.
Cool. Cool. Yeah.
Um, but she brought me to Italy and we just like played on each other's songs and we did like a 2 week tour and it was my first time touring in kind of a large extent like that and
Yeah.
just certainly overseas like it was an amazing time. So from that I was able to make connections with like the agent that helped
Hmm.
her out and he helped us set up all of the Italy stuff which was so good and I still
That's
work with him. His
awesome.
name's Andrea. Like
Andrea. All
he's
right. Shout out to
the guy.
Andrea.
Andrea
Awesome. Yeah.
Perotti.
Just living his life out there in Europe right now, just crushing it probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's so
from
cool.
there, it was like a nice opportunity because, like, flights are so expensive. So if you have some like key dates where, like, you can kind of like show up and play to a crowd, that's great.
Exactly.
Then it gives you some time and space to like try things out. So we went to, I think we did like one show in the Netherlands and then some in Germany. And that's kind of how I kept going back was initially solo. First
Right.
with Rachel, then it was with my friend Nick Fay from Regina, and we
Hmm.
did a tour of like Poland and Germany and Netherlands. And it was just like it was really good fact finding because then
What's
like
fact finding?
years oh, I just mean like I was able to like go on like a fact finding mission as a solo artist and not spend as much
Oh,
to
I see.
bring
I
so
see.
that I could kind of like make the connections and meet the people and
Yes.
find out the venues for I brought a band like I think the next year after that. So it was kind of nice to build and just
It
like
was the laying the
find out.
groundwork kind of
Exactly.
process. Yes. No, that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. And then it's next time you want to go, you get to hit up Andrea and the other people and just be
Yeah.
like, can you help facilitate it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Totally. It's
That's
pretty
so
great
cool.
to have that as an option. I must admit like the last tour that I did was the biggest one that I've ever done and
Right.
I'm still a little exhausted by it even though it was like
It's trending in the right direction if it's the biggest tour you've done, you
that's
know.
right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
totally.
Where did that end up? I don't know why I said that
Um no, it's okay. Um it started so it was so all over the place. We started in September at the beginning
Mhm.
of September last year in the States. We did like two emo festivals and one was in a cave
Sure,
in
okay.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we flew from Nashville to Frankfurt. And then we did like Germany, we did uh Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, we did Denmark, we did the UK
Wow.
for the first time, and then ended up in Italy at the end of it. I think it was in total like 8 countries or something.
Wow,
And
that's awesome.
six or so weeks. It was wild. Like it was a
Wow.
wild time.
Okay, well, we've talked up your career quite a bit at this
We
point, you
have,
know.
yeah.
So let's talk about the sound, your sounds and the songs. So let's start off with what do you think is your best song? And it could be best
Hmm.
you expressed the song idea that it came out the best, it was the closest to your first idea, or it could be because it's a surprise or whatever. Like, yeah. And I know it's
Hmm.
like picking your children, it's
It
impossible,
is.
but what
Yeah.
hits you at the moment, you know?
I mean, yeah, it's I think I'm always going to be choosing things that are newer just because they're
Hmm.
fresh and all that. I do think like this set of songs, the last few that I've put out, like the Tough Kid, What Is Real and Momentum, like
Yep.
those I feel just so strongly about. And I'm like excited to hear them, even though I've heard them a million times through the mixing and
That's
mastering
the key
process.
thing,
And
to
you
not be
know,
sick of it. Yeah.
yeah. So I feel like I've been really allowed to try my own thing with these and just like not I kind of like shed my concept of like fitting into confines for these set of songs, which has been really cathartic and
Totally.
empowering, which is fun. And so I think yeah, I think those are my favorite today, especially What Is Real, because that one is
Hmm.
like tied to this like a story of my mom's. So specifically, it holds a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that for some of the listeners, or should they just go listen and find out?
I mean, go listen and find out, but it is a pretty cool story. So I will
If
tell
you have
you.
time, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, yeah, listen up, kids. So my mom had this recurring dream when we were younger. She ended up telling us about it like after the fact, like when we were older. But she basically had an entire like dream world that she would go back to every night, and it started to become like more and more real, where she couldn't decipher like which was
Oh
the,
man.
waking world and which was dream
Right.
world. It all felt real.
Reality. It was both were
Yeah.
felt like reality. Oh boy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she was part of these two realities. And at one point, she felt like something told her that she had to make a decision between the two. And yeah, so she ended up choosing us, and she never had the dream again after having that
Whoa.
decision made,
Whoa.
which is insane. So it's
A therapist is listening right now, just like, linking their fingers like a Bond villain listening to that.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
well, that's good. I mean, it seems resolved, whatever was
Yeah.
causing that,
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow, what
absolutely.
a
Dream worlds are crazy. Dreams
yeah.
are crazy.
Dreams are crazy. I absolutely, even just the idea of sleep and why we need to. I saw this was a meme, but I saw it in other stand-up specials and people have said it, but it's like, isn't it weird that you need to pretend to fall asleep before you actually fall? Like, it's the only thing where
Yeah.
you need to act like what you're doing before it actually it's just a bizarre thing that we have to do. Just
Yeah,
gotta
for
shut
sure.
down for no
And
reason.
like the science isn't like super conclusive either. It's like, what's the, like, why do we need to sleep? Like, yes, like, or else we'll die, whatever.
Yeah,
Like, we need to
we
sleep.
lose
But like the
energy. We can all
reason,
follow
yeah,
that, but
exactly. And like the reason is just that, like, we get tired and
it's
we've got to
just
sleep. But it's like, okay, I'll go with that for now.
we need to know more.
I want to know more.
Yeah, exactly. And the doctors are just like, I don't know, you just do it. All right, go
You
to
just
sleep.
have to
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
it.
Wow.
Mind you, I
Okay.
love sleeping.
Yeah, me too.
So,
That's true. That's if it's a bad thing, it's a good bad thing.
yeah.
Uh, well, that's a really interesting backstory, honestly. That's like you couldn't ask for one better than that.
Yeah. Thanks,
I know
Mom.
you, I know you make music videos to go along with a lot, or if not all of your singles.
Yeah. Either
And
visualizers or music videos, depending on
right.
what I
A-
have available.
And forgive me, I can't remember which belongs to which, but does that song have a video to go along
That
with it?
one just has a visualizer.
Okay.
And just because, yeah, I feel like we're like this record that you heard it here first.
Yes, we
Hasn't been
got the
announced yet.
scoop.
But
Wait, when are you going to announce it? Do you have an actual date that you'll announce it?
we'll announce it in September, but there will
Oh,
be
it's
many utterings
okay. So is it
until
okay
I'm
if this
not
comes out
precious.
within June or whatever?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
We'll
Here's the
get the
thing
little
is that like
caterings going.
I want buzz. I want
Yeah,
people to be like
exactly.
stoked for it. So I'm just gonna
Perfect.
talk about it.
Fantastic.
Um yeah.
That's great.
What was I saying?
Sorry, we were talking about visualizer versus video.
Visualize. Right.
Yeah.
Because it's such a long like rollout process, like there's already 3 singles out and there's going to be like 3 more.
Right.
Like
Okay.
I can only do so much financially, creatively, time, scheduling, all that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the last 2 have been visualizers, but the one
Yeah.
before that was like the slow zoom out kind of like
Oh, okay.
Lynchian
Yes.
thing that my friend
Yes.
Tegan made.
Cool. Tegan. Oh, Tegan
Tegan
is a
Johnson?
musician.
Yeah,
Little Coyote.
that's right.
Oh, thank God I got that right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she's
Yeah.
amazing.
I saw her perform. This was one of those instances. I was in the same room as you, but we didn't meet. She
Oh, me?
played. Yeah, you.
Really?
I saw them perform, but you were in the room watching her.
Cool.
She opened at. Oh man, is it the Gladstone? No, or
Oh, for a big gay night?
yes, it may have
Yeah,
been
one of
that.
the early ones.
Really early, really early.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I might have been that. Anyway, because I live right near the
cool.
Gladstone, so it was like I should go and see what's up,
Yeah,
Anyway, great. Anyway, I just wanted to
awesome.
bring that up. Yeah, they're a great musician as well.
So
Uh,
good.
it is about time. We've done enough lead up to figuring out what your worst song is. So I would love to hear
Mhm.
what it
Yeah,
is, how you came upon it, like how you decided.
yeah. It is so hard because I have quite a like, sentimentality towards my
Uh-huh.
songs.
Of
But it's,
course.
it is okay to look back. I think I,
Think of it.
I
Think of
think,
it that as least successful, not in terms of like analytics, but least successful. Just like I don't know if it came out how I want or whatever. You know.
yeah. I mean, I think the one that I ended up choosing here. First of all, I have a whole record that is not on the internet that I produced in like
Yeah.
2010 or something. Sounds like crap. It's
Okay.
just like totally shitty. So like that would probably be like my least
Sure.
successful like offering.
Right.
But
Right.
this song, I think I just didn't have my voice yet, so it doesn't
Hmm.
sound like me to me.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it's the song "I'll Be Fine,"
I'll be fine.
and it's like just like really like peppy, and like I was doing like the acoustic guitar like sing-along stuff, and
Oh.
it was cute,
Yeah.
and like I still like I played it this morning just to see if I could, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I still know it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think like I was searching, and it's a little happy-go-lucky for how I actually am in real life, and I don't
Yeah.
think I had quite found my
Right.
voice yet.
It doesn't mean you're not capable of showing positivity or happiness in your music, but I know exactly what you mean, where it's just the way it's happening in that song maybe doesn't feel authentic to you, at least
Yeah,
now, you know?
yeah, yeah, for
I feel
sure.
the same way because obviously doing this podcast now,
Hmm.
it makes me look at my own music differently. And
Of
yeah,
course.
sometimes I listen to my older music and I'm like, I don't even know if I remember the person I was when I
Yeah.
thought this was a good idea or whatever, you know. And it sounds like you have a better relationship with your past songs than maybe I do, but
Ah,
yeah, at
we'll
least
just
you know, brought it out metaphorically and dusted it off and played it this morning and
yeah.
to see how did it hit you when you played it this morning?
Um, it hit me. It hit me well. Like I was just kind of like, oh, like it was. There was a fondness. There was like a tender,
Hmm.
like heart feeling. I think. I honestly, the thing I couldn't stop thinking about was like, if I name this as my worst song, my mom's gonna be so mad at me because she loves that song, but she loves all of my songs, so
Yeah.
it's not my fault.
Well, she gave you a great other song, so it's sort of a
Yeah,
balance
exactly,
anyway. That's
exactly.
so
I
funny.
just also gotta say, my
Yeah.
parents are so supportive. They're just the
Aw,
best. So
good.
just
No,
shout out.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, shout out to supportive parents of their kids in the arts. You know, that's an
Yeah,
important thing, especially. Everybody can see the value immediately of like going into
yeah,
a trade you know what I mean? Just because you know your kid will probably have
yeah,
a better chance at being stable and
totally.
financially. Yeah, so anyway, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's so were either of your parents musicians or anything
No,
like that? No? Artists
no.
in any way?
My mom is an artist. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Um, but they just like, yeah, they didn't even ask the question of like, is this what we're gonna support? They just did, and they always
Ah,
have. Like
ah.
they've been to so many shows, and like, I've been doing this for 15 years, like
Yeah.
fully. So like,
Right, right.
like where I've like jumped in and kind of like started touring and recording and stuff.
Hmm.
So like, I would not still be doing it if I didn't have their support or someone
That's
to call when I'm
great
down.
way to say it. That's a great
Yeah.
way to say it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that that's how much help they provide. It just in different ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a volatile career path.
Hmm.
It's tough on the brain. It's tough on the emotions. It's tough on the spirit.
And
Sometimes, like high highs, but low lows.
yeah, and like if they're solid, if they're doing the bare minimum as parents, they're going to care about making sure you are safe and
Yeah,
not they're going to worry about you is basically my point. So yeah, that's
that's
great
right.
that they are still supportive.
Yeah.
Uh, that's great that they're still supportive. Something else I ask about people's worst song, air quotes,
Mm.
is you played it live or live. That's a weird way of saying it. You played it live this morning alone in your house.
In my living room to my
Yeah,
dog.
I'm sure your dog loved it. Uh, could you see, if you're not already, could you see yourself reviving it live on any tours, or you know,
Hmm.
could you finagle it and bring it back out and see? Could you slow it down?
I don't
No.
think so.
Okay.
I think it's just outside of what like my thing, my project, what this has
Mm-hmm.
become.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a similar thing to why I took down some of my earlier records that like from 2009 to
Yep.
2013, just because
Yep.
like I think they're great, and I'm really proud of the work that was done by not just me, but everybody that worked on it, and like, my friends that played and
For
helped
sure.
me produce and everything. But
Yeah.
like, it just the project has grown into a different thing, and it doesn't quite align
I
with
get
me
it.
anymore. And
Yeah.
and so like, and funny that you should bring that up is like I've just been doing like a bunch of acoustic shows, and I've had a lot of requests from older records,
Really?
like from
Oh, that's
2014 records and stuff. And
Was
so
your mom shouting out in the background? Can I would hear that song?
not even my mom this time,
Oh, wow.
which is great.
That's
She actually
great.
couldn't come because she has a cold,
Oh.
but
Get better.
get better, Mom.
We can all wish her well. Hopefully she's better by the time this comes out. That would be horrible. Yeah.
I know. I think she's good as of like today. So
Okay, good.
But it was a good like practice of like, okay, I'm gonna do these 2 songs that I haven't played for like 7 years, and I got to practice. I got to run through them anyway. But like it really, it's nice. It's nice to like go back into your catalog and see the ways in which you've grown, but also like I find with a bit of space, you probably find this too, with a bit of space from the music, you can be extra proud of yourself.
Oh,
you can be like, oh, this is great.
Definitely.
You, like,
yeah, exactly.
I love this.
And I remember how confused or however you felt at the time. And now going forward, you can look back and be like, it was, it seemed like you weren't headed anywhere, but you were. It's just, yeah, I totally agree. There's a real benefit to that. I want to end it off by saying to you, you are the only person so far that I've interviewed who has said they would not try and revive in some way the song, which is very interesting. Very interesting.
That is interesting. I think
it makes sense that you're cognizant of the general focus of your career and the vibe of it, and wanting to keep some sort of. It doesn't mean you can't grow or try different things in this project, but it's. You want it to have, they should all feel like family members, even if they're not siblings. So they should be cousins.
Yeah. I think it's just like a little too bubbly for where I'm at nowadays. And I mean, that's my answer now, but that can change because life is long and all that. I just like, I also do think that the song itself was about like a story that I concocted in my mind that wasn't me. And so it feels very surface when I say it.
Okay.
Because I've gotten to a point now where I'm starting to like, write about my own stuff and things like that.
Oh, your old stuff, sure.
Own emotions.
It's like I'm interviewing Hank Hill now from
Oh my God.
Only because you said it that way. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Bobby.
Okay, that was good. See, it's not my fault.
Oh, can you cue the King of the Hill soundtrack? No,
yeah,
that would
exactly.
be pretty expensive to license.
That would be very expensive. Maybe many years. If I have Jeff Bezos on or something, he can pay for it.
Oh, perfect.
Your worst business. I don't know what I would have.
Your worst business.
Just because
why
it's your
is it
worst.
Amazon?
Yeah, exactly. Well, on that note, do you want to introduce the song name again, yourself again, and that'll lead us out?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
All right, let's do this. I'm Skye Wallace, and this is my worst song, I'll Be Fine.
Thank you so much. You crushed it. That was great. Yeah. Okay, just jumping in here to say that unfortunately Skye couldn't find the official file. I think it's lost in the recesses of old laptops and projects and things. But while on tour, they were nice enough to record a few words about the song and then play the song live. Here it is.
Yeah, turns out I actually like this song a lot. And it was really nice to revisit it. It was funny, I couldn't find the actual CD or like the file or anything. I have no idea where to find it these days because I like, as you can see, I can't find them. But anyway, it was really fun to like play through it and somehow remember it all. And I've chosen it as my worst song because I can see all the ways that I've grown as a songwriter when I hear it. But I love this little guy. Yeah, hope you enjoy. One step at a time, baby, and I need love right now. I'm finding my own way, I swear. Though I don't know how, being lost is a good thing. It's all part of the plan. Yes, I have a plan. Don't you believe it? Been stranger, been stuck, been lost in the dark. So many storms that I've been braving, and I've been to lead just me. I don't need saving, but I'll be fine. I've lost my faith before, but you restore it, and I can believe it. I'll be fine. I've lost my faith before, but you restore it, and I can believe it. can believe it. I can believe it. Oh, when I tell myself, gotta catch my breath, but the way this poison following me, it scares me to death. And I tell myself, but it does no good, yeah, maybe I should. And don't you believe it? Been strange, been stark, been lost in the dark. So many storms that I've been braving in apparently just me. I don't need to save it, but I'll be fine. I've lost my faith before, but you restore it, and I can believe it. I'll be fine. I've lost my faith before, but you restore it, and I can believe it. I can believe it. I can believe it, and I can believe it. I can believe it. Steady convincing myself not to fall in love, but every single time, anytime, can't get him off my mind. Just take a step back, baby, and look at this. I'm a wreck, but I'm hitting the deck. I'm not gonna miss this time. You're the one that I choose. How you feel about that? Giving up my skepticism. I'm on track, but I'll be fine. Been lost before, but you restore it. I can believe it. I can believe it. I'll be fine. Been lost before, but you restore it. I can believe it. I can believe it. I'll be fine. I've lost my faith before, but you restore it, and I can believe it. I'll be fine. I've lost my faith before, but you restore it, and I can believe it. I can believe it. I can believe it. Oh, I can believe it. I can believe it. Ooh. Fun little fact that comes with the voice and aging is that I used to play this on the capo on the 4th fret, and I didn't have a capo, so I'm like, oh, I'm just going to try it without. It's the most comfortable with no capo. So apparently 2 full steps down is what happens in 15 years.